are you ready to get started?
Dude, I'm ready, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait. I was running this morning and I was like, I honestly am pumped for this episode because I want to hear how you guys are converting leads and what you guys are doing and how we can help our community.
Love it.
So my name is Anthony Angelillo, branch manager over here at Paramount Residential Mortgage Group and CEO founder of Tag Team Nation, top originator of the year. And I've been doing about, I'd say.
Let me call my technician.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. So I took this off and then I just there.
Let me make sure everything. Can you hear me though?
I can.
Okay, good. All right. So top originator of the year. I've been doing loans for about 18 years right now, and co-host of Damage Control. It was nice. We just had one of our subscribers reach out to us, Melinda and I. She's from Austin, Texas, and she reached out to see where she could join forces and hang her license, and we gave her a couple of options. But this is what this community is about, man, is to help out agents nationwide, to collaborate with them and to use everyone as a resource to help us scale one another. So it was really cool to see that happen last night. With that, I'll introduce Melinda.
Hi guys, Melinda Grimaldi, real estate and title attorney with Grimaldi Law Firm and the Closers title. So that's recently launched. We have been accepting several contracts already this month, so we're super excited about that. And other than that, we're super excited to have Dinorah here. Dinorah, I want to ask you some personal questions, not personal questions, but personal questions too, because you do so many things. So I want to know your secrets.
Okay, wait. My husband's leaving, so if it's personal, hold on. Close the door.
So why don't you introduce yourself? I know you have many roles. I don't want to many hats. You wear lots of hats, right? And so if you can share all the hats you wear and all the things you do with ours, so they get to know you a little bit.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Melinda and Anthony, for inviting me here. I'm so excited to be with the Damage Control. I've been following you guys and I love what you're doing. You're helping move the needle in the industry, and we just need a couple more like you. Thank you. So I'm Dinorah Guerra from South Florida, and together with my husband, we do have a brokerage of over 450 agents with a couple offices right now. And also this year's 2021 Women's Council of Realtors Florida Treasurer. And I've definitely been involved in giving back and within the industry, whether it's in the leadership or just, with trainings and education. So I do enjoy what I do, but I say it takes a village. And that's why, to me, having a team is so important. To me, it's the only way that I can do everything I do and have some kind of balance, right? So it takes a village, at home with my kids. I have a son who's in traveling, soccer. So imagine that it's pretty hectic. And at the office, again, I also have a team because I couldn't think of doing everything without, everyone else. So that's just a little bit about me.
Good. I'm like, my son wants to start playing basketball, in a team. And I'm like, oh man, that's going to be, he has to really want it. Like he needs to ask for it a few more times before I sign you up, because that's going to be a whole other.
That's traveling, man. That's traveling.
Well, a whole other thing.
So I have two boys. One does sports, but with school, and the other one is in the travel team. And so I guess I'm saved that my son that does it in school, it's after school. I don't travel anywhere. And, but again, it's going to depend on them, but you're right, Melinda, you have to see some effort on their end for you to sacrifice yourself, because trust me, it's 4 times a week that I have, soccer practice. Some of them are in Broward, half the time it's in Miami. The game, I'm leaving this weekend to Naples. So you see, but now, really? For soccer?
Well, for taking my kids to play with their friends, but similar.
But
yeah.
But you know what? With the Women's Council, I've been able to, where I have colleagues everywhere. So I'm taking advantage. And now that I'm going to Naples, you know what? I'm having lunch with a colleague. So, my life is just kind of one big, where it's real estate. I work with my husband. Let me drink some water.
I tried that for like a second. It didn't work. Working with my
Yeah, well,
husband.
that's good stuff for another. That's good stuff for another episode. I can give you tips and tricks on that.
Awesome. I
Talk
love
about
it.
damage control.
Yeah, exactly. It's when you work all day, like anyways, let's not go
Yeah, yeah.
let's not even
Yeah.
go into that. Let's not even go into that.
How do you do that, by the way?
You know what? But I guess it's passion, right? It's passion. And so I always say that when you disagree, it's because you're both being passionate about something and you're not seeing it the same way. So it is the passion, right? And for us, you know, Anthony, yourself and I, we do extra things because we're passionate about what we do. And I think that is what shows. And, you know, and that is part of like what helps move the needle, because we're innovative and always trying to do something and connect. And I think that one of the best ways is sharing stories, right? I mean, that to me is, I love sharing, like, here, let me tell you my tips and tricks for this. And I learned from you as well. So
I love that. Yeah, that's really the basis of our show, because, you know, at the end of the day, we don't need to start from scratch, right? We could always learn from each other. We learn things from our guests all the time. We're sharing information and materials all the time. And it's just a beautiful way to help the industry be better, because we're going to be working with each other, right? So
absolutely.
let's make it a better industry, better service for our clients, and you feel more confident as a business owner, as a professional. So let's get right into the nitty gritty about the theme for today's show, because, you know, I hear it, and why it's so important is because I hear this all the time. Anthony, I'm sure you hear it all the time too, with agents who are buying leads and they're like, they're bad leads, or like they're not working. I wasted so much money. And really, I think there is a system to do it. I don't do it myself. So that's why when you told me you had like a kind of a system in place on how to handle them, I really thought that was a crucial thing that needs to be shared, because there's a lot of agents out there spending money on leads and getting zero return for it. And it's just making them crazy.
Yeah.
No ROI, no return at all. And everyone's generating leads. All you hear about is generation. And there's no conversion. So at Women's Council, when you said, you know, we're gonna talk about how we convert them, this is gonna be raw data. So I'm excited. I got my notepad and I'm listening. So I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let you keep talking here.
So I'm gonna start with the secret. The secret. So I'm gonna start with the secret. It's consistent follow-up. It's consistency, right? And it's follow-up. The money's in the follow-up. And that's really what when I see agents. It's not the best agents that are closing the leads. It's the most consistent agents that are following up that are closing the leads. So that right there, it's like, it's funny that things are easy, right? It's like, you know what it takes to, you know, have a six-pack, you know, but now are you consistent enough to go to the gym every day and do your, you know, your sit-ups? No, we're not consistent.
No.
You know, we know what it takes. So now with the follow-up, I will tell you that having a system does help you. And I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I paid tuition in the beginning. Trust me, it was a pricey tuition that I paid in, you know, knowing the lessons of, I was purchasing leads. And again, yes, I was like, there's no return in my investment. You know, these leads, I'm not, you know, really, like, my team and I, we're not converting as high as I'd like. But now, the minute that I started putting a system, and I'll give you an example. It's important when your lead comes in that you touch them in some way as soon as possible, because that timing, you know, right there, they're continuing their search, and they're gonna continue reaching out to somebody until they get somebody that is giving them what they want, right? And what I see that they want right now, these buyers, because it's instant. So it's like that instant gratification. Oh, I want to see it now. Okay, so, and I don't know if many of you know some of the changes with Zillow, for example, since that's one of my sources, where now, you know, the consumer can actually click and, you know, and schedule when they want to show it, right? So, you know, again, like, so part of it is touching it immediately, putting it into the system. So I use, and I started, you know, Follow-Up Boss. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. There's a lot of things out there, but you know what I say, as long as you do something, it doesn't, you know, have to be Follow-Up Boss. I just think that's one of the best ones. I mean, I talk to a lot of people and I've gone through a lot of them. And again, that's my favorite, overall price and what it, offers you. So with Follow Up Boss, the minute that we started using it, one of the features that I think is pretty cool is that you can see the social media, links. It can link you to their social media. Okay, so what? It's great. You start already understanding a little bit, right? Like try to understand the consumer, who are you talking to, so you know how to talk to them. So kind of, I suggest, you kind of like look them up a little, and you'd be surprised. Nowadays, especially after the, with the pandemic, I see that there's so many out-of-towners, right? From, let's say New York, California, Texas, are the 3 top that I see coming in. And remember, I see not only what I get, but we have a brokerage of over 400 agents. So I kind of see all the transactions, going on, and I kind of like formulate like, okay, so we have out-of-towners. What do you do as part of the system once you put them into your follow-up boss, once you've connected the, to their social media, and perhaps even, again, there's a script for that, but what would you do after? At that time, we would put them into, we mark them off if they're from out of town, then that means that they want to see more about the city, about Miami, about if it's Coral Gables, or, if it's the Keys, because we also have a team in the Keys because we have an office there. So what we do is that we start, trying to create value. So again, there's multiple things going on at once when you're setting in the automation, because really, you can't do it all, right? So when you have things already working for you and you've already, set it up once, it kind of starts, that the follow-up boss will remind you when to go ahead and reach out to them. It'll remind you, hey, they're looking and searching for leads. I mean, for listings. So it tells you all this information that without it, you wouldn't have that insight. What you were going to ask.
I was going to ask you. So before someone buys leads, they should set up their CRM. Right. That's what I'm taking, because otherwise, like if you're trying to take in the leads with something that's not built out yet, you're wasting your investment, because you can't implement these things that you're talking about right away, right? So if you guys do not have a CRM yet, or you have not built it out yet, we have episodes for that. So we will, in the show notes, refer you back to those episodes. I don't remember which number they are yet, off the top of my head, but go back and do that first, and then watch this again on the replay so that you can put these things into place, but properly with your CRM. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you haven't caught the gist of all these shows, every single show, it's like you need a CRM.
It's the same thing. Look, I wrote it down. System, CRM, all right? Speed to contact, that's your consistent follow-up. Follow-up boss is the CRM to answer that question. Social media, she's targeting social media to have a value proposition. So when they call, they know what they're talking about, who they're talking to, they're reading that person's data, their life, they're soaking up that information, so they have a call to action. Out-of-towners, my question is, because there's a question here, how are you marketing your out-of-towners? So I'm assuming you're doing value propositions to target market out-of-towner clients. Is that what you guys are doing?
So, I mean, in our brokerage, we do a lot of video. So video for us is kind of easy in the sense, because we have the equipment. So a lot of times we'll just go out and do, hey, this is today in Coral Gables, and kind of just feature that. Or at the same time, so I haven't gone into my team yet, but what I do tell them is that when you go and you have a showing for a lead, don't think of it as wasted time. Take advantage of that moment, and it's like show and tell, right? Show yourself that you're here at a property, you're going to be showing, afterwards, if you even ask the agent for, permission to advertise, then you can even then put the address. Hey, you want to know more about XYZ, Elm Street? Give me reach out to me. So yeah, take advantage of those moments. Again, time, oh my God, there isn't enough of, right? That's time. So when you're doing something, like try to do like where you're not just showing, you're also, creating that content in your story or for your social media while you're there.
So you guys are creating stories, painting pictures about Miami and the market, and then targeting these leads and trying to captivate them and draw their attention so that they opt in. So then you call them, correct?
Remember, we're trying to provide value.
Okay.
Value.
Value is
In
the
any
key.
which you can. Now, for those that are in Florida, I'll tell you my new favorite tool that we as realtors already get with our membership is sunstats.com. So SUNSTATS.com. And right now, Miami Association has it on their dashboard. But if you go into the Florida Association of Realtors, they have it there as well. And what I love is that it's so simple, where you just put in a zip code, excuse me. And right now, like you'll see, okay, this month, actually, it's like a month behind. So it's like last month, 2021 compared to 2020 last month. And then right now, it's kind of impressive, the changes from in 1 year in the inventory, in the transactions, in what the average, price per square foot is, in the volume. So numerous information that's on this, one pager report. And I find that, well, we started sending it out on a monthly email, because again, you want to provide value. So, and you don't want to, and when you're following up with these leads, you want to have something different to say all the time, right? You want to have a reason to reach out. And so this does help because they're interested in knowing, oh my God, like in knowing the pattern, right? And you can even go a couple years back, or you can just do it 1 month compared to last year. So and you can do, you get the information in 2 minutes. So anything that you can just click and you get the information saves me time, and it saves me time. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's a great tool, and it gives you something to talk about, right? Because when you're doing
Yes.
all these follow-ups, like how many times you can say, how are you doing? Like, what's up? Like, what are you going to say? So it gives you great content to share, which if they're in the market at some stage of being in the market, there's different levels of that. They're going to be interested in what that looks like, right? Those stats. So you are buying leads, you have your CRM set up, quick first to contact as soon as possible, right? Because otherwise they're going to go to the next person or the next click or the link or the next thing.
Make sure that what I've been using lately is just make sure that you have like a downloadable, a digital business card. And if, and it can be as simple as, just it's a PDF, or, it can be as simple as your signature or what you use. But then that way they already like connect a face, you become real.
Right. Even like a little canvas, like square to share with the information, a little picture, a little something there about the areas you service, and like you can pop that in text message. So that will be the first thing. Hey, I got your information, and you shoot them a text, and like, when's a good time to call?
No, and I don't know if many of who's the agents watching, if you have an agent video in something about you, right? Like you're already then, don't make it more than like a minute, but you're already, again, it's part of the being real. And in your video, these are people that don't know you, so you're selling yourself. So yeah, that's a good thing to do.
That's a really, really, really good idea. Actually.
You can even put the QR. If you want, again, you can be creative, but by including a QR on your collateral, even that video, and on your postcards and everything you do, you can include it.
So what I found out that is working, because we do something very similar, is the link that we were embedded into the body of the email. Even when I was choosing milestones, like a contract executed, people didn't want to click the link. It's too suspect. They're like, what is this link?
Especially nowadays, I don't click links. My team's not allowed to click links.
No, but it used to be a hot item because it was, it was new and fresh. Now what we're doing is we're creating a smaller gift that's a move-in video, and the video is a image, and then we are specific saying click the watch the video for more information, and then there's a link there and they're clicking it. So our conversions now are going up. So it's little secrets like that is all data. It's data that you analyze, and then you say, how can we improve that data? But I love it. So can I just go back one thing? Stats.com. Sunstats.com. You're gathering information, and this is for your monthly email. Is that what you were saying? That you're
yes, but so in follow-up, boss, again, you have different buckets that you put them in. So 33134, and again, the Coral Gables zip code for specifically is one of the ones that I concentrate. So yes, I mean, I'll know which ones are specifically going into that zip code. Now, as far as leads, and I think it's just because of the conversion rate that they see that our team has, we get a little extra, you know, like bonus leads, and it happens to be that these bonus leads are from Spanish speaking clients only. And so guess what? I have in my team. I definitely have a couple that are, you know, that are very comfortable, you know, and fluent in Spanish. So what I find that you know, so again, when I'm talking about buckets, we also have where it's translated, and we do have a Spanish. Everything gets translated into
So
that.
they get to choose who they're going to talk to, or you're just basically dispositioning to someone that speaks Spanish.
So let me tell you how I guess, like, on the back end, how I work with my team and how I choose, and I guess, and how I delegate. And this I've like realized. So I have 3 teams. I have an A team, a B team, and a C team. My A team are, like, I would say that get all the gold. You know, they've been with me for a while. They're closers, you know, top agents. And so that's who I give my premium stuff. And then I have my B team. And you know what? They're hungry. You know, they're in the, like, I mean, they have a little experience, but they're hungry. So they're really going to be following up and being consistent, right? And this particular group is the one that listens to what we say. They do what we say. So, right. So I'm kind of so I end up molding a couple, you know, from there, and that will get into my A team, you know, eventually. So that's kind of how I work it. And then my C team is just because this is my Spanish speaking group, where the leads are actually everywhere in South Florida. So they're all labeled on areas, you know, like, okay, I know that this one works in this, you know, you know, farm area. And then that's how I connect.
Amazing. I love that. You have to have a system, right, to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be like, you can't keep track of all of it. There's a few questions in the Q&A about what the best place to buy them, I think the best lead is going to be the one that comes from a friend or like a past client, right? Those are leads that are referrals. Those are the best leads. But when we're talking about purchase leads, would you say all these companies, whether it's Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever, all these different places you could buy leads from, are they all created equal?
No.
No.
I mean, not equal, like in the sense of what you were saying about the best lead, you know, that is a referral. Well, yes and no. I mean, they are, but really the best lead is the one that they want to see this house, and you were able to show it, and they're putting an offer on that first house. That's the best.
Right, it's the best, right? But where
Yeah.
is there one place you can get more of those? Like, it, you know, in terms of, because the question is like, where should I spend my money? Which one of these things should I do?
I've done a couple, and I will tell you that it may not be a favorite, you know, for many, but Zillow is where it's at. The consumer is brainwashed, and they, you know, no, the reason why they go there is because it's easy. So I was talking about Sunstats before, about it's like a click, right? And that's what I like, because it's easy, so I use it. And I think that with the consumer, you know, Zillow has always been so easy for them to use. And so that's a value that they provide, right? It goes back to the value end. But I think that Zillow is where the best leads are coming from when you purchase. Now, I'll tell you that recently we started, you know, doing things with the SEO in our website, and it's impressive. And I just can't believe we didn't do it sooner. It's impressive, like in the last week to 2 weeks, the types of leads that have come in, it's impressive. So people are online. Okay, let's start with that. They're online. Over 93 of the, you know, percent of buyers, right? They're online looking, you know, themselves. And of course, then the trend is that they then refer the properties that they want to see to their realtor. You know, or they, again, because I spoke about, they want to see things now. So if they're able to see something right now, and you happen to be that agent to show the property that they wanted to see, and they loved it, and they want to put an offer, then guess what? There's procuring cause, right? And so you happen to be their realtor in that case.
I have a couple follow-up questions. So Anthony, go you first, but I want
all right. So let me role play here, because I'm very curious. I want to know. Zillow lead comes in. You guys have speed to contact under 3 minutes, maybe 5. You disposition the lead. Are you meeting that lead for coffee, or are you just trying to close them on the phone? What is the protocol and the system approach on that? Because Zillow says that you should meet the real estate agent. The problem that I'm seeing with Zillow is that the inventory is gone within seconds, and then therefore that lead is now on the next house, and we're playing merry-go-round with multiple agents.
So first answering that part where if that they have multiple agents with Zillow, again, if you know and you send them an invite for you to be their agent, then they accept the invitation. And that's usually done when you're meeting them at the property. You just tell them, hey, since, because they know that you work with Zillow, I'm sending you an invite, and Zillow just wants to know, wants to make sure that I'm here and I'm helping you. And they'll put send, yes. And that means that for a whole year, you're the only one they see when they go to Zillow. You're the only agent. And that's big, because if not, we would have, where they are contacting 10 different, Zillow agents in that area. And then it does become, a little messier. So wait, you were at, what was the first question?
You're using your MLS credentials basically to suck them in and basically have them not go anywhere else and surf the web with you, right?
Well, in addition, but I meant when I was talking about a Zillow lead, it has a feature that most agents might not even know that it does this. But to me, this is one of the how fantastic for you to be the only Zillow agent that they see for a whole year, and all you have to do is send them a little invite.
And that's on
That's
Zillow.
so good.
That's
It's
on
through
Zillow.
the Zillow platform.
Yes. So this is so going back to wasting your time, and this is why I know that I paid heavily on tuition, is because I was doing things without knowing, and again, like years back. And when I say not knowing, is that's one thing, not knowing, right? That's a big thing. You're going to be the only Zillow Premier agent that that consumer is going to see for a whole year, and all you have to do is send them an invite. And the process is that you do it right when you're meeting them in person, and you say, listen, Zillow just wants to make sure that I'm working with you. If you don't mind accepting, you send it to them right then and there, they accept, and that's it.
That is the nugget of the day right there. That is, I've never heard any agent talking about this feature. I think it's a really important feature, right? Because it locks in that investment in the leads for that time frame.
And in the back end, I see, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like 10 months ago. I see, I see when they reconnect and the activity, and it's amazing. So it goes back to that the money is in the follow-up, and it's following up consistently, and continuing to follow up and, and provide value when you can.
I love that. I love that. So I have another follow-up question to what you were just saying. So you try to show them as soon as possible, especially now with the inventory, and you try to connect as soon as possible. And most of the time when someone calls from Zillow, they want to see a specific property, right? So, the discussion usually is like, don't show a property before they're pre-approved, but that's, I think, a different type of, for a different type of lead, right? A different type of client or referral, right? So can you elaborate on that?
Sure. You're right. And that's a big thing within my team, and they all have like different opinions, but according to Zillow, and trust me that, they know, because they spend a lot of money, in the research, and they know the data that you really, you try. How would you feel? You just call somebody, you want to see the house, and what they're asking you is personal, your finances, right? That's, I don't even know you. So save that. At least meet them in person for that first time. They want to see something, just go try to establish a relationship. I hope you're likable, because you need to have them like you, because they need to want to work with you, right? So I definitely think that you and I advise you to wait off on that initial question on the financing.
Now, as compared to when you get referred a client, right, from a friend, a past client, then you have your consultations are a little different, right? You probably will do a Zoom or a phone call, walk them through. Have you gotten pre-approved yet? What you kind of ask all those questions in a different way, because they're already hot and bothered for you because they've been referred by a friend or family member or someone they know.
Absolutely. And it goes back to what you were saying that you just mentioned now about a Zoom. Well, perfect example. If when I do get those referrals, you know who I do a team call with? My lender. You know, because who better, right? That doing it together. And now with Zoom, you don't, I mean, they don't even need to like leave their office, you know. So I find that we need to use these opportunities, you know, using technology to put us, you know, face to face a little more often, even if it's not, you know, where we're in person, but we're still connecting.
That is called a hot transfer. And you mentioned one thing that I want to be very clear on with every agent, and every single agent should be doing this, is to pre-qualify. And you can ask simple questions. When you have a cash buyer, you're asking for proof of funds, right? It's the same concept. So asking those additional questions to vet the client. Once you build rapport, the way you're doing it is you're zooming in with your lender, which is badass. I love that. So now there's accountability and everyone's in a Zoom meeting like this, and we're answering and collaborating together. So that is deadly. That is a great concept. I love that. That's another golden nugget is to vet properly. I feel like a lot of agents don't do that, and then they push the puck. And the problem is you don't have a qualified lead.
Or they're too strict on vetting and they do it too early, and then the person's like, whoa, this is too much. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to buy me dinner first, like before on the first date, you know.
Who the hell are you?
Yeah. So I love that. I love that. So you were just gonna say something. Sorry, Dinorah.
Oh, yeah, no, I forgot. No.
All right. So we have another question here about like the most affordable place like to purchase these leads. Some agents don't have the money necessarily because usually these platforms require 6 months or a certain amount of time frame, a contract, a certain amount every month. So like, I mean, in the end, you pay for what you get, right? So you can't like, you're going to have to invest and then be ready to handle those leads if you want to buy leads.
So my suggestion, the most inexpensive ones, I guess, would be from your social circle, right? So if you're obviously putting things out there and, you know, like little, you know, as far as in your social media, okay, that's going to be the most inexpensive. Now, aside from that, I'll tell you that I have a team, and the reason why I have a team, and a lot of my team members have gone to Zillow and tried doing it themselves, and they've come to me because, okay, Zillow, yes, it's expensive. It's consistency, so you don't see the dollar in the in the beginning. It's more towards the latter part of it. But how I tend to work the leads is that I try to like maximize by having my different teams in the tiers, right? Because let's just say top agents may not want to be reaching out as often to these dormant leads as often as, like I mentioned, my B team that are a little hungrier. So have levels, maybe if you give somebody a lead, give them 6 months, and then kind of move it off to somebody else if they weren't successful with it. So think that, sell off your leads maybe, or get a referral fee. So maybe if you're an agent and you're like, oh God, I have like these 100 leads and I know and I can't get anywhere with it, you know what, maybe offer it and say, listen, somebody in your office where, hey, I'll give you, you get like a referral, like a 25% referral fee for just like selling off your leads if it comes to anything. So like be creative, right? Like on and again, and if you want to start, then see who in your who has a team that and maybe you want to join in, do it for your time, and most of most of my top agents stay with me and they don't even do it on their own because they know how difficult it is to do everything, right? So I make sure that when the lead comes into my into my office for my team member, that they know that they can just reach out to me for anything and I'm part of their team. I mean, just yesterday, I was on Zoom with one of my new agents in my team, and who has a client that who captured her lead, and it's somebody looking for land. So of course, if you're new, you're not comfortable or experienced with land. So in that case, we just did a Zoom meeting all together, and it worked out.
That's great. That's great.
You gotta pay to play, man. I mean, in 2009, when I started buying leads from Lower My Bills and LendingTree and all these other third-party vendors, I was paying $199 a month. I had 4 counties, so it was like $796 a month. I maxed out my card every single month, so my credit was shot. And the point I'm trying to say is that if you don't have the money, you need to pay to play. And you need to follow up. And that is why I'm in this position, because I took a risk and I was in debt and I made that shit work. And so what you're saying basically is Zillow's expensive, but if you're going to invest in yourself and invest in Zillow, you need to follow up and you need to have systems ready. And once that launches, nothing can be in your way. You need to focus on that and make sure you succeed so you have a good ROI. So that's important.
Yeah,
just-
I do suggest. Wait, I'm sorry. I do suggest that you have that you go back, agents that are buying into leads, and make sure that your online profile is who you want it to be. And make sure at the same time, when it comes to reviews, make sure that you're actually asking all your clients for reviews, because nowadays, again, what I have experienced is that I'm not just getting leads from the direct consumer from Zillow. What I see happening right now to me is that I'm getting a lot of referrals from outside states, from agents. So it's realtors that are actually looking at Zillow, seeing who's the best one in that area and connecting with them as a referral, because they have a referral.
So are you building most of your testimonials and reviews within the Zillow platform? Is that where you focus?
So I guess, they do it smartly, right? So in our brokerage, we have Dotloop, and Dotloop is owned by Zillow as well. So they make it very easy. It goes back to a touch of a button where you can just, through Dotloop, connect and request a Zillow review. Yeah, so it happens to be that that's the game right now, but transition, and we're looking into like, how do we just grow that into all the other platforms? Because, right, you have Yelp, you have all these other platforms that we're looking at now to see how we can merge into those. Because reviews, they're big. Think about when I'm shopping on Amazon, I compare, right? Like if 2 products are the same, and that's usually how it is. If 2 products are the same on Amazon, I'm going to look at which one has like the most. Forget it. If it has over 1,000, I'm like, wow, I'm a believer too. So I picked that one.
Right. But it's true, because it's like proof of concept, or it just gives you that credibility, right?
Yeah.
It just backs you up with what you're saying. We have some more follow-up questions from our viewers about the process and when to ask the questions and when to do the showing. So I want to just have you reiterate, how quickly are you asking the finance questions and how quickly are you showing the properties with a Zillow or online lead?
Okay. So you immediately, as you're even talking to them, you're trying to like see what are the showing instructions. Like, okay, you got to be fast, right? So then to be fast, you have to know your tools. So don't wait. So it goes back to what do you start doing before paying for leads? Know what tools are out there, how to use them, right? Like how to use your MLS from your phone. And so the first thing is, yes, you want to try to get them out there. And what you end up, as far as qualifying them afterwards, I say meet them first in person, and then you have that discussion, because I think it's a little, I don't know, it's a little off when you haven't met somebody and you're already asking them for their finances. Again, it's different than what you would just, if you were getting a referral from a friend, then you know that that's the obvious first step.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so what happens now in this market? What happens now in this market that like by the time they send it to you, it's like already like off the market? So how are you handling those type of scenarios? You say, well, that one's actually already under contract. I had this similar one in the neighborhood. Do you like find something else right away, or how are you handling it?
So you should, going into when you're, let's just say I have a showing with a Zillow lead. When I'm going, I've already looked around at and have like at least 3 different options for them, and I know a little bit about it. enough to look like where where I am the neighborhood expert. So do your homework before, so that they feel comfortable, and and again, that you have the value, and the value is that you're going to help them find what they want. Now, what you were saying about what if it's already taken, again, you explain to them, how fast, you explain to them what's going on in the market. And that's when you can have the conversation about, well, what, we should properly, we should have a file for you where in it, I already have your pre-approval. So then again, so you can have that conversation there, because it kind of goes hand in hand. And just when you're educating them about the market and how we need to be ready, so that when we do find the house, of your dreams, we can immediately, attack from there. So
yeah, so you set them up with the basis of the market conditions, like we really need to have this ready because things are not lasting on the shelf. You need to put the offer right away, but if you can't really put an offer without a pre-approval, because they're going to want to see that, right? So it's all about the presentation, and when you're doing it in person is a great way. Even if the property is not available, you can be ready to show them some other properties, then you take it from there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Talk about the trends. All these questions, guys, it's all about what you guys are saying. Sunstats.com, and I'm assuming Sunstats is showing all the statistics on the market, but look at the business articles that you guys should be reading, like Amazon entering. Okay, they already did. Ocala, they entered in. Google enter in Miami. All right, what do you think is going to happen there? That's jobs. What's going to happen then? There's going to be more demand. What happens with no state income tax, Texas, Florida? I mean, these are things that you should be informing, and that's the value that you should be talking about. And when someone says they're paying cash, why? What the hell? The rates are still low. Why are you going to liquidate money right now? Like, who does that? So it's just, those are the things that you really need to really list down, because everyone's going to have the same rebuttal. I'm paying cash. I'm not ready. I'm just looking. Those are the same things that you need to handle those rebuttals with. The value proposition that you're talking about is the emails that you guys are embedding, which is fabulous. That's awesome. I mean, we're ahead of the game.
Anthony, now what I have seen is that a lot of those cash offers, what they're doing is that they're just going on paper saying they're cash, and they're financing because of how how low their interest rates are, that it would be a no-brainer. But that's what they're doing. They're then converting, and immediately, with timing, things are happening fast, and so they're able to bring in a loan at the end.
So they're saying they're paying cash, and then they're converting
on paper. Yeah.
So I was just talking about this. When your offers are going in, just because it says cash does not mean that a loan can't be done. It means there's no financing contingency. So if you're trying to be competitive and you have all your docs in with your buyer, you can actually submit a cash offer just contingent on appraisal and inspection, and then you're so much further ahead.
You're absolutely right. So I think, is it marking A on the contract?
The first one is the no financing contingency. Yeah, exactly. I love that. So it's all about knowing those little nuggets and strategies, like moving forward. And in this market, like, you need to find a lender that'll get the docs in and like have them ready to go, so you're not dragging it out. I think that's key. If I was an agent doing that right now and I had buyers, that's what I would be doing, because you're that much further ahead.
So, and I tell agents, don't wait until you have a deal to find your partners, meaning your title and your lender, because there's so much more that they have to offer you, even when especially when you're a new agent. I find that new agents, not everybody has all the patience for them, but they tend to be, one of the best, as far as like they come in and they wanna, anything that you say they want to do. Okay, perfect, fine. Like, they'll get into, my team. And they may start with my lender and my title, and then maybe, what happens is that sometimes it is good to have a second lender, just because you may have a different type of property that one may not be able to deliver on, and then you have another.
Of course.
So
And then also like my claim to fame is with new agents, like, how do I submit this offer? You don't want to never talk to me and just send me an offer. You want to build a rapport, right? Like use me to that. Like I literally am coaching agents all the time with the offers. Like the first one comes in, it's marked up in red. The second one, maybe one comment. Then by the third or fourth, they're feeling good. They're feeling confident. They're submitting them because I show them why and how to do it. And then from there, it turns into like a more confident agent and they feel more confident showing it to their clients.
absolutely, and that's your big value. That's huge. That's huge. That's your big value. I mean, like, how can they not go to you, or how can they not want to work with you on that?
Here's a funny story, and I'm not trying to undermine the agent. I love the agent, but I'm like, we're using Melinda, like, because the contract,
So funny.
contract came in and it's 97.5. I'm like, no, it's 96.5. The escrow money's in the wrong place. It slows. I lost a day. That day, I'm like, let's go. I want things done fast. So it's just doing things right.
But the point of this whole story is if you're a newer agent, you want to have people you can call. You want to be able to have your roster of, it doesn't, it doesn't have to be us, but it has to be, you want to have your team so that when you need something on the weekend, when you need something in the evenings, when things, and this is market, you really can't wait till the next day to get your questions answered because the property can be gone. Like there's like 80 people, 100 people showing up at open houses. Like this is a really interesting time we're in. So you can't mess around. You need to be ready to go. Like you need to have your templates and your forms on in your Simplicity or whatever you're using, your dot loop filled out with the defaults, like, everything ready to go. And it's also a representation on you. When there's all things created equal with your offers in this market, you want your offer to be on point, like with the right boxes checked, nothing missing, because that's going to reflection on how the transaction is going to flow, right? If this agent has their offer on point, they're likely going to have a better process, right? A better experience with the other agent. As an agent, I could tell too, when I look at it, when a contract comes in, I could see, oh, this one's going to be interesting. Cause like there's, it's just looking all crazy versus one that's done nicely. Everything's e-signed. The dates are there. We know the effective date comes in, the agent confirms it. So it's about the experience. So it's all about presentation, and having a smart offer presented is part of that. Right. So having that ready, don't try to figure it out when your client is ready to make a move, right? You need to be figuring that out beforehand so you're ready to go.
Everything up front.
Yeah.
Expectations and everything.
That's good stuff. So as we're wrapping up with our time, we do have time for a few more questions. But did you want to add any other nuggets about the process? Like as you follow up, like how many times are you following up? Like how many times is your system doing it for you?
Okay, so it goes back to then I guess like having your scripts, and for those that do purchase leads in Zillow, they have Zillow University, for example, where anything that you can think of, any kind of like script. My favorite is the 10-day initial conversion script that they have, but everything is there. So you know what, and if there's any brokers out there, you really should have access to this so that you can share it with your agents in your office.
Zillow University, never heard about that either. You, Anthony?
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
I heard it but on the lending side, I didn't know. I didn't know about that on the real estate side. I know of a lender that does Zillow University though. That's good though.
That's good. That's good information right there to check out if you need help with because this is pretty much, it's not cold calling, but it's a cold call, right? You're having a random person from the internet that is connecting with you that you've never spoken to before. They know nothing about you. So like getting practice with those types of conversation is important. So scripts are very helpful, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll tell you another thing, that if you are on Zillow and you're a team, there's a certain way where you need to be structured in order to maximize the reviews from your team. And I go back to like the Amazon reviews, right? People are looking. So if you were to go in right now and just go into Zillow and you go into the area that you're looking for a realtor, and you put Miami. Well, as of I think a couple of days ago, I was definitely one of like the first ones that come up, and it's because of the reviews. So as a team leader, you end up getting kind of like a carbon copy of those in your team. And then those, anybody in your team, let's just say the day of tomorrow, they're no longer in your team, they continue, they stay with their leads, but you continue having that carbon copy. So that's another tip when it comes to how to increase and maximize the reviews from your team as a team leader.
So that's why it makes sense for you to buy the leads and then structure, because then it's linked to your profile and then you Dutch them out, right?
Absolutely.
That's smart. That's very smart. I didn't know that you had that
No,
ability.
it took me years
to figure it out.
Years.
Anyways, it's okay, because better late than never, right? And you still got some good years in you, so you'll dominate that for sure. But that's, so the team leaders that are watching, that's a great opportunity. I know a lot of teams that buy leads, so it's a super useful tip right there to be linking your team members with your profile.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. I love it. It's all
What
really
other
good stuff.
questions do we have? I'm trying to read here. Let me see if there's any.
I think we've covered most of these. In terms of affordability, I think that it's not
like what Anthony says.
it's affordable if you're converting them.
Mhm.
I remember I told the broker.
That's the key.
I said to this broker years ago, it was probably 15 years ago. Yeah, easily 15. I'm like, do you want to become a broker? Yes. All right. Pay the damn money. Go ahead. Take the damn leap of faith. And now this person has like 15 people under her. She's in Kendall doing amazing. But the point is that you got to jump, man. Like, you got to just do it.
By the way, on Follow Up Boss, I'm also a collaborator, so I can see what's going on with whoever agent is working that lead. I can either, if I choose to, I can be a part of the conversation, or I can just see what's happening. So the back end is for a team in particular is very good.
Oh, that's nice too, right?
Yes.
So you could help manage
and for
guide
you,
and train.
yes.
Also.
So Melinda, you can even include your like I have, you can include whoever your transaction coordinator is, or again, anybody in your team, you can collaborate them. Your lender, you can put them in there so that you see what's going on with the paperwork, and everyone is in one big team. And everyone is knowing, instead of just going, oh, so hey, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And then like you're having to like piece it. It's all in one thread. So it makes it easy to follow up.
Yeah, right. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because we're getting like bombarded. I tell you, the best is when I get like contract questions on Instagram. I'm like, you guys, you got to put it in like the more like legitimate platforms. Not that it's not legitimate, but for contract questions, let's go on mainstream email, text message. Let's not, don't give me those questions. Like sometimes you just don't get around to it. It's not considered a priority is my Instagram, DMs, although we do get to them as soon as possible, but still, like got to use the right channels. To the point, there's so many. So the average transaction from pre-contract to post-close is about 300 emails for us, which is like crazy, right? So you have to.
There's a lot of the back end. So there's a lot that happens in the back end, right? So
yeah. So that's why we went to one team email, and those, because otherwise everyone was CCing everybody, and we're like 300 times, we're like 8 people in the team. So imagine if everyone getting CC'd, like, no, we don't need all those emails. We need one, and not everyone needs to respond, only one person. And then you don't know that the person responded. So that's why something like that, where you can, even on the lead side in the pre-contract phase, if you're in a team working a lead, it's a beautiful thing to have all the communication in one place, all the notes in one place. So I love that. That's a great tip too. So find your team and work the systems. But guys, at the end of the day, it's all about systems. Systems and follow-up.
Follow-up
systems and
consistently
follow up. So she started the show with start with the secret. We're going to end with the secret. The secret is it's all in the consistency and the follow-up, right? It's not a secret. We talk about it all the time, but for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but there's something about people in general, but I will say we're talking about agents. So we'll talk about agents that just are not consistent. They know what they need to do. They know how they got to do it, because there's so many opportunities to learn, but just they're not doing it.
are you waking up? At what time are they waking up? You know, right? We have like every Monday, we have like a morning 9 a.m. I'm at the office. I'm dressed. I mean, I already dropped off my kids. Some
Yeah.
people are just in PJs, this, that. So it's like what's going on too is that for realtors, like it's not easy. I mean, but the money's out there, you know, but you have to be consistent. Like, I mean, is your full-time day 8 hours, or is it, or some people think it's 4, or, you know, again, what you put in it is kind of what you're going to be getting. So if you feel that you're not getting much, you may not be putting in as much.
That's for sure.
Are you passionate? That's what you said in the
Are you?
beginning. Bottom line, man, do you give a shit about your business?
Like, you gotta want to make things happen, you know. And I think that's like, we'll end with this discussion.
Mhm.
If you don't want it bad enough, it doesn't matter what you pay for leads. It doesn't matter what systems you're using. It doesn't matter what CRM you have. It doesn't matter what like, it doesn't matter, because
Yep.
if you're not gonna do the work that you as an agent, who is the sole main person responsible for your success, it's on you.
Yeah.
Right? You can blame everything else, but it's not. It's on you to do the work. And you just gotta figure out how you're gonna make it happen. And it's not easy, because we have families, we have to market our businesses, we gotta produce, we gotta deal with the like, there's a lot of hats that we wear, right? So what do? You gotta wake up earlier, you gotta stay up later, you gotta figure it out, you gotta outsource, you gotta find a broker that helps you, you gotta figure something out to how to maximize your day and your time to do that, right? I literally, I don't have to do it anymore, but there was a stage in my life for 2 years where I woke up at 4 a.m. so I can review my files before I went out and did all these marketing events and trainings and go here, go there, because I need to be home at, like, you know, at a decent hour to put my kids to sleep. So I would literally be with 4 to 6. I was grinding on my files.
Mm.
6 to 8, I was with the kids. The nanny comes at 8. I got dressed. I went to the office. I worked. I went out. I did all my things. I was home for dinner most days. And I did this sacrifice. And I'm telling you guys, not to like shine a light on myself. I'm
No,
telling
but
you
that's a
guys,
system. That's a
I
system.
sacrificed sleep. I sacrificed time, but it was for with a
Yes.
short term. I'm like, it's gonna pay off. I just got to keep doing it. It's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. Now I still wake up early. I don't wake up at 4 a.m. I can't, like, but I don't need to anymore, right? I needed that extra leverage. That extra 2 hours a day is what got me to be at a place where I am now, which is tripling the amount of files we have. So if you want to double, if you want to triple, you're gonna have to do double. You're gonna have to do triple, right?
Yep.
And it's not going to be easy. And that's your little pep talk for today. But you got to do it. And then once you get into that routine, right, that's where it starts to flow. Things, hey, the money tree. I think it's even the same base. I got mine on
Amazon?
Really?
Yeah, I ordered it on Amazon. They have plants on Amazon you could order. But
I don't talk about the money tree. I'm so
Anthony has a massive money tree. Okay. This money tree,
17 feet tall.
it grew so much.
Wow.
Okay. I know, isn't that amazing? And now it's to the point that it has to be in the lobby because it's too big.
And now it's getting fried by the sun. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I got to figure it out. So we'll see.
I could always put it in my backyard. I don't think you can put it on your, I don't think you can put it on your balcony because it doesn't, the rules.
Maybe I will put it in your bag because I don't want the 17.
I'll take the 17-foot money tree. I'll take that. I could use one of those in my life.
You walk into our office, it's like, oh.
Do you want to swap and grow another one? I'll give you my little one. I just got it.
I'll take you up on that because it needs to be moved.
Awesome.
Listen, real quick on everyone, and we're getting things here saying, is this recorded? We have a YouTube channel. You can use that as a reference. I'm going to send out some scripts as well with Melinda on DC. So you'll get all the feedback on
If
this.
you're
I can send you some and you can then distribute that. You want that? I can give you like my favorites.
I love
And
that.
you can, and I'll send them to you. And then you can share.
Amazing.
Share the love.
So if you are subscribed to the show,
Yeah.
then you will always get an
Here.
email the day after the show with a recording and all the goodies that we have for you that we've either built out or that our guests have. So you'll get all that tomorrow. So Dinorah
Let me
sent
do
me
that
that
now.
later.
Yeah.
And then you'll get your email tomorrow with the scripts. You'll get your email tomorrow with the recording. If you're not registered, then you can watch us all the time on YouTube or on the replay on Facebook. But if you want the goodies, you got to subscribe.
You gotta subscribe, and you should be doing this right now and sharing, man.
Yeah, share, because our show is free for you guys. We bring you all these tools. We spend a lot of energy to help make you guys better professionals. So all we ask in return is to share the show with your friends and ask them to join us as well and talk about how awesome it is, right?
Dinorah, thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
My
Dinorah.
pleasure.
This
Thank you
was so
both.
good. Have an amazing day. We'll talk soon.
Take care,
Okay,
guys.
Bye,
sweetie.
guys.
Bye.